In this week's show, we continue to battle our brake issue with a little...
My God, if that doesn't get me my Redneck engineering card, I don't know what does.
But unfortunately, it doesn't quite work as planned.
So you don't think it's our brakes?
Oh, I smell brakes, but I don't think it's ours.
Okay.
Nope, I could be wrong.
And while we get delayed in Albuquerque, we do get some great New Mexican food.
Yeah?
That is excellent. Your turn.
Okay, my turn.
It's all just part of our tasty RV life.
That's pretty damn tasty. So Tony Tao has some newfangled breakfast food that she got off of the Tiki Talks that she's about ready to hand me. I have no idea what it is, but it was cooking in the air fryer. It is, well, Gracie thinks it's hers. Excuse me, ma'am. It's not for you.
So here's the middle, here's the yolk.
Oh, so you spread the yolk around. So what is it, like a tortilla?
Yeah.
With an egg?
Tortilla with egg and cheese in the air fryer. Then you take the yolk, and you know how you like a runny yolk.
Yeah.
I mean, you want me to put it for 30
No, I don't. If it doesn't bother me. I do soft-boiled eggs, so.
Okay. So then you put the bacon in, and you fold it over, and you eat it like a taco. So let that cool a little bit. But, oh my God,
tacos.
it's so good.
Gracie's already got her nose on my bacon. Hold on.
already had mine.
I'm gonna make her a happy dog. You want a piece of bacon, ma'am? There you go. No piece of bacon for Gracie girl. So here's the taste test on the Tony Tao air fryer breakfast taco, the TTAFBT. That's pretty damn tasty.
Right?
That's a keeper. I'm gonna make Tony Tao do the recipe for you on this one.
So easy, so simple. But it's delicious.
That's, well, what do you think, Gracie? That's pretty good, huh? Even though you just had the bacon. Good morning, kids. Well, I just got off the phone with the folks at D-Max to try and fix this brake issue. So here's what they're suggesting I do. So they're suggesting that I crimp off the hydraulic line that's going to the caliper and zip tie that all off and then pull the caliper out completely. Now this does mean that we'll just be running on 3 disc brakes instead of 4. But to be quite honest with you, with the Ram, the vast majority of my braking power comes from the engine brake on the Ram. I very rarely mash the brakes unless somebody pulls out in front of us, right? So it is going to lower our stopping capabilities, I guess you would call it, but I don't think it's going to do it that much. So now I've got to get under there and see if I can get that caliper off and see what I've got to crimp that whole thing down. Let's go do that. All right, kids, so here, this is the hole that caliper bolt came out of. And there's another one you can see right up here. This is the one I'm gonna have to take out. Right now, that caliper will move around, and that's the last thing I want to have happen. So I have to find a way to pinch off this line. Maybe I'll do it up here on the axle and with the pair of vice grips, and then I can just zip tie the shit out of it. Here's what I'm talking about. Maybe I can crimp it here and then zip tie the whole everything down to this axle. The vice grips and everything. Zip tie it and tape the hell out of it. All right, let's try that. Where are my vice grips? There they are. And if I can crimp this down, oh man, that's a pretty heavy duty hose. Okay, that I'm sure has it crimped off. Oh, this whole thing is moving. These need to be tightened up. That's not good. I hope I can get this out of here because the leaf spring's right there. Yeah, that's gonna hit the leaf spring. Well, that's gonna be a problem. Well, this got more complicated than I wanted it to. All right, well, let's crank this back down. Let's tighten all of these bolts here, because that should not be moving around like that. Well, of course, nothing is as easy as it's supposed to be. I can't get that top shackle bolt or caliper bolt out because of where the leaf spring is. It hits the leaf spring as it's trying to come out. So I think what I'm going to do is crank down on that one to tighten it up. And then I'm going to use the vice grips to pinch this line and kind of deactivate that brake. But I'm going to leave the caliper on there because I don't see how it could fall off, because the bolt literally can't get out because of the way it's hitting the leaf spring. I think that's what I'm going to do. And I'll just keep a real close eye on it all the way to Kansas City. That's the plan. All right, kids, so this is about as redneck engineered as anyone can get. So I've got the vice grips up there pinching this line off. Now I'm going to zip tie all this stuff together and tape the hell out of it. And with any luck, it'll stay there. I'm going to do that and then I'll show you the results. Step one, just a couple of zip ties to keep the vice grips from popping open. All right, here's step two on the redneck engineering. It's a rainbow color zip ties. That thing's pretty solid on there. But I think I'm going to tape it down too, because, you know, never miss a chance to use up some gaff tape. All right, this is I got a shout out to Cody over at Untethered. You need to let me know if this qualifies to get me my redneck engineering card. There you go. So we got vice grips cutting off this supply line that are zip tied closed, zip tied to the axle, and then taped to the axle. My God, if that doesn't get me my redneck engineering card, I don't know what does. So here's where we're sitting. There's the caliper. That's the bolt that's missing. That's the top bolt up here. Where is it? There it is. I've cranked down on this one to hold it. It does still wiggle a little bit, but I think without that caliper activating, because it's not going to get any hydraulic fluid, it should be fine. The one thing that's a little more concerning to me was that the bolts that are holding the caliper assembly to the axle, this is the second time these things have backed off and gotten loose, and then that whole caliper assembly moves around. On the Lippert axle, there's a bolt that's pressed into those to the axle itself that holds it originally held the drum brake assembly on. They were in these holes here. They were pressed in. D-Max suggested knocking those out and putting their bolts in. Now we did that on the passenger side, and we really had a difficult time getting those bolts to seat. And now these bolts are coming loose. On the other axle, we didn't knock those bolts out, the pressed in bolts. We left them in, and those over there haven't unseated. So I guess my suggestion to you, if you're doing D-Max brakes on one of these Lippert axles, leave those pressed in bolts on. All right, okay, so we're set up and ready to roll for this morning. I'm just going to keep an eye on this every time we stop and make sure that that one caliper bolt has not loosened up. I can't get it out. I can't get the thing out because as soon as I start pulling it out, if you can see here, as soon as I start pulling it out, it hits the leaf spring. I don't know how to get it out of there. So anyways, that's our dilemma. We'll see what happens. Fingers crossed, wish us luck. We'll see you at the first stop. Hi kids, we're out of Winslow. What was the name of this place again?
Homolovi.
Homolovi State Park. Really, really nice place. The one downside, if you have a pull-through site, the hookups are going to be on the wrong side. They used to be on the right side.
But according to one of the park people, they're like, too many people ran them over.
We didn't really get much time to explore because we were dealing with trailer issues and all that stuff.
But there's like ruins here. There's hikes all over the place. It's gorgeous. This morning I woke up and went outside and I heard the donkeys braying. each other. It was so
Nice.
pretty.
Yeah. All right, so today we are off to just north of Albuquerque. We'll be stopping a couple times so I can keep an eye on my Redneck engineered brake fix.
I don't even want to look at it because if I know it would just scare me, so I don't want to stress myself out.
It wouldn't scare you. It's secured.
I'm not looking at your Redneck fix.
It's secured. The vice grips are secured. They're not going anywhere. My bigger issue is whether or not that one bolt that's holding that caliper on is going to start backing out. And we'll just check it every time we stop.
And I'm not too concerned over, the whole thing because it's pretty flat the way we're going.
All right, you ready?
This is as I'll ever be.
Hashtag RV life, kids. We're off.
We had a great breakfast. We're all packed up. It's still fairly early. So yeah, we just take our time.
Yeah, taking our time. All right, we'll see you at the first place we stop to check on those brakes.
Sometimes I wonder if I'll ever make it back to where I've been. I know my mama always said that if you lean on the ones that you love, you will find your way home. And even with a soul that's been out on the run, you will find your way home.
All right, we're at the rest stop just inside the New Mexico border where the Welcome Center is. I forgot to grab the camera, but I did just climb under the rig, check everything out. My hillbilly hack has worked so far. Nothing's come loose. The one bolt that's holding that caliper in is just as tight as it was when we left. My wrap job on the vice grips around the axle is fine.
That was an impressive wrap job.
Do you like that?
I couldn't even see it at first.
Let's get this black tape on a black axle. So we're going to keep on going. I'm sure we'll stop somewhere around Albuquerque and take one more look. Maybe we'll pull off at that casino area because there's a bunch of parking there. That Route 66 casino where we stayed on the way in.
Whatever. I feel a little bit better now that I've seen what you've done under there.
I feel a little bit better that nothing has loosened up in the last 150 miles. So I've got D-Max has sent me a couple of bolts for those calipers. So they'll be at the house in Kansas City when we get to Kansas City. Good on you, D-Max. They didn't charge me a penny. They're just sending them out there.
Nice.
All right.
But you know what? You were very nice to him, and that's a lesson, is don't jump in, don't go in and start yelling at people. Just go in very nice.
Oh, yeah.
You had a nice conversation with the guy at D-Max, and then next thing you know, he's sending you a bunch of bolts and not charging us.
Yeah, my Arkansas grandmother used to always say, you catch a lot more flies with sugar than you will with vinegar, honey. Use your sugar instead of your vinegar, and you'll be surprised how many people will help you out.
Oy.
All right, let's get back on the road. We'll see you somewhere around Albuquerque. Again, I think we're going to stop at that Route 66 casino area because there's a whole bunch of room to park there. All right, let's get going. All right, we stopped. This time, I actually remembered to bring you along. All right, so I'm gonna climb under and just check these bolts again. If you don't have one of these, get one of these. This is a furniture pad, and I'm just gonna lay it down on the ground so I got something comfortable to lay on. All right, going under.
So you don't think it's our brakes?
Oh, I smell brakes, but I don't think it's ours.
Okay.
I think it's that truck over there that just came down that hill. Nope, I could be wrong. It could be this caliper here. Yep, it's us. Brakes got warm coming down that hill. I don't think my crimp off is actually working though, because I think this brake has engaged. Now my concern is that it's not disengaging, but I think they just got warm coming into this stop, and that's why you can smell that.
You slammed on the brakes kind of hard.
Yeah, I know. All right, we don't have that much further to go.
We have about 22 miles.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
We ain't got much farther to go.
All right.
I'll just keep an eye out the back here.
All right.
Alrighty. All right, so we went down to the next, not rest stop, but just a Love's truck stop. And it looks like that caliper, that brake was still dragging. So my vice grip, it wasn't stopping the fluid from going to the brake caliper, and I think on that hard brake I did coming down the hill, it applied that brake, but since I had the vice grips on it, it wasn't allowing it to release. So that brake was dragging a little bit. So
let me answer this. The only reason we have the vice grips on is you're concerned about the caliper falling off.
Well, I was concerned about the caliper engaging and being moved around when it engages, because it only has one bolt on the top now. It may just be that we're just going to keep tightening that bolt or checking on that bolt every stop until we get to Kansas City.
Yep.
All right, well, we have 26 miles left and then we'll be at our campground for tonight.
Right.
Hashtag RV life, it's so much fun.
I'm not stressed out, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. All right, we'll see you at the campground.
Got my house on the back of me. Got food, got drinks, got toilet.
Got everything I need.
Got my dog, got my husband, we're good.
Yep, we're all good. All right, we'll see you at the campground. Well, hey kids, I'm coming to you a little bit from the future because we're already in Kansas City and have been here for about a week now. So when we got to our campground in New Mexico, outside of Albuquerque, I went under the trailer. I didn't take a camera with me because, to tell you the truth, we were exhausted by the time we got there. I went under the trailer and I discovered an issue, which I'll talk about here in this next segment. That meant we weren't going any further. We pretty much got stopped in Albuquerque. We had to get that bolt for the caliper before we could go any further. So I got on the phone with Jesse over at DMAX, and he overnighted a bolt to us to get us back on the road. However, that did mean that we had to change plans because we were only supposed to do one night in New Mexico and then we were moving on from there. This meant that we were going to be stuck there an additional 2 nights. Here's how that all played out. Well, good morning, kids. This here should be what we have been waiting for. Our one bolt for our calipers. Let's open it up. One bolt. That's all it took to take our whole rig down. Just one little bolt. All right, I'm gonna go make sure that this is actually going to fit. So let's go down underneath the rig. All right, back under the rig. Let's see if this thing fits. Yay, it fits. All right, man. That will get us back on the road. I do, however, need to go down and get some red Loctite. Because when I was talking to Jesse over at DMAX, he said, yeah, you probably want to put red Loctite on them. So I'm going to get some red Loctite. But for now, right on, man, we're going to be back on the road. Now, here is one thing that I'm a little concerned with, though. And I'm going to have to probably address this. While this thing was loose, while this caliper was loose, it moved. And it ran up against the rim. You can see right here where it rubbed up against it and it kind of put a groove in this rim. It's only maybe a 32nd of an inch. It's very, very shallow, but it does concern me. We'll have to address that in the future. All right, I think Tony and I are going to go get some lunch and get some red Loctite because I'm not going to miss the opportunity to get some New Mexican food while I'm in New Mexico. And then tomorrow, we're back on the road and on our way to Kansas City. Check, check, check.
Oh, my melody.
I'm not turned on.
You say that to all the girls.
Good afternoon from Albuquerque, New Mexico. The trailer's back together. Yay! We're going to take the afternoon to go get us a nice New Mexican lunch. Because when you're in New Mexico, you need to try the New Mexican food.
Yep.
Little tip for you. They offer 2 types of chili that goes with their Mexican food. Red chili or green chili.
Rojos or verde?
Rojo?
Rojo?
Y verde.
Y verde.
Verde.
You can't roll your tongue. They'll ask you, do you want red or green?
Or you could say Christmas.
Or you could say Christmas, which means you want both of them. But when they ask you, what I usually do is say, well, which one's hotter today? Because I'm a wimp when it comes to the hot sauce. So, but there you go. There's your New Mexican food tip. We are heading down to El Pinto, which I found on Bring Fido because it's doggo friendly. So we'll take Gracie with us. All right. We'll see you over at the New Mexican restaurant for lunch. Well, we've made it to El Pinto. Gracie's being El Dorco. She's just going too fast. She's just all excited to be outside of the rig. Your standard New Mexico chilies hanging.
I always like those.
Yeah, I always have too. I always do too. It's just pretty. All right, first impressions of El Pinto. This place is absolutely gorgeous. It's got a beautiful patio that we're sitting on. Margaritas have just arrived. Thoughts on the place, Tonita?
It's really pretty.
I know, right? It's gorgeous out here. We got an order of chicharrones coming. If you've never had chicharrones, just go get yourself some because you'll love them. And I don't know what we're ordering for lunch yet. The chicharrones are just an appetizer. All right, time for margarita. Chicharrones have arrived. They do it a little different here than they do in San Diego. San Diego usually just get the great big chicharrone. Here, there's some green chili with it, as well as some tortilla. All right, Tony, I'll give it a shot.
I'm gonna get the green chili first. See how spicy that is. It's good.
Yep. Heat?
Not so much, but I made sure I didn't bite into the seed.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So I put butter, the chili, green chili, and then the chicharrone. I'm ready.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. That is excellent. Your turn.
Okay, my turn.
I like the green chili, actually.
Yeah?
Oh, I do.
And then the chicharrone. All right, it's going in. Yeah, that's super good. Actually, the little bit of char on the tortilla works.
Mm-hmm. Gracie wants a chicharrone.
Yeah. You want some chicharrone? I'm gonna try the chicken stuffed sopapilla with the greens. It's got green sauce on it. That's pretty amazing. Well, then I gotta try the pork one. And then this one had the red sauce on it. Yeah, that's out of this world good.
So I tried their
The rice?
I love Mexican rice, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I make a good Mexican rice. This is an excellent Mexican rice. I don't want too big of a bite.
Right.
It's got the pinto.
Are you getting a big bite, like it or not?
I know.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Crazy girl. She's just patiently waiting.
Too spicy for you. You give you heartburn.
What, madam? Gracie girl's right down here because we're getting ready to film something, which means she's going to be, come on. She's got to be right in the middle. Oh my goodness. French kisses from Gracie girl. So real quick, before we wrap this whole thing up, wanted to talk a little bit just about the mental side of, or the emotional side of all of this stuff that we just kind of went through. I want you to talk a little bit about your frustration when we got delayed in New Mexico.
We were coming to Kansas City. We were making our way to Kansas City to see Michael, our son, and Vanessa, our daughter-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
So to have that delayed hits harder now
Yeah, especially after losing Danielle, after losing our daughter.
It just hits harder. I get so excited, you know, because he's my family, and I get so excited to see him, and I just can't wait. And then to have the brakes put off, and it frustrates me. It makes me upset, and it makes me pout. And I get mad, not at you, or I just get mad at circumstances because it just feels unfair that I want to go see my child, and I've been delayed, and so I do get grouchy.
So this goes to some of the stuff we've talked about before, about just living in a small space and with each other all the time. I had to recognize that, Tony was frustrated, she was pouting, she was angry, but it wasn't at me, it was at the situation.
Right.
Because she wanted to be in Kansas City visiting with our son and daughter-in-law.
I miss my kid.
And because we both miss our kid when we're not around him. Our kids, because Vanessa's our kid too. But in the end, we actually wound up making it work.
Yes.
We adjusted our travel plans. We originally were going to spend 2 nights. We were going to leave New Mexico, spend 2 nights in Pueblo, Colorado, and then a couple of stops on the way across to Kansas City. We changed that up, and we basically did 2 long drive days.
Yeah, we left Albuquerque. We hit Colorado.
Yeah.
Just outside the Colorado, like 3 miles on the Colorado border from Colorado
to
going
Kansas.
into Kansas City.
We were in like Burlington, Kansas. Burlington, Kansas, which was right on the Colorado-Kansas border.
Long day. Probably got there about 5 o'clock. It was just starting to get a little dark, but then not dark enough that we couldn't set up. And then the next day, we got up early and we made another very long drive because going across Kansas is a long drive.
So in the end, everything kind of worked out.
Right.
All right, so next week we will be in Kansas City. We're actually in Kansas City now. We've been here for about a week. We found a bourbon distillery here. Actually, we didn't find it. A friend of ours found it, so we did a tour of a bourbon distillery. There's also a really cool thing going on in Kansas City right now called the Parade of Hearts, which is some very, very cool artwork we've gone around.
And when we say going on right now, they're distributing right now, so they're just popping up all over the place. It's great.
Yeah, so I don't want to spoil it, but these hearts are popping up around Kansas City.
Yeah.
So if you want to make sure that you get to see all of that stuff, please hit the subscribe button. If you're not already subscribed, give us a thumbs up, maybe throw something in the comments, and if you hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when that video next week pops up. That's it for this week.
Sure.
All right, we'll see you next Sunday.